Don't be silly with it. All right. Clear prop.
Thanks for tuning in to my channel. As promised, this is a follow-up to my last video. In this video, I'm hanging out with Troy Woodland, the designer of the top Rudder Ruckus. He walks me through a lot of details on the actual airplane, their green demonstrator airplane, affectionately known as the Green Machine. So he walks me through all the details on the airplane, and then he takes it for a demo flight. And I got a lot of really good video, some close-up details on the airplane. I think you'll want to stick around and check this out. Thanks. Cool. So those are the old brakes and tires?
Yeah.
The 27s? How much do these big ones weigh?
Sorry?
How much do these big ones weigh?
A lot.
You said they're 33s?
Huh?
33s you said? Or
31.
31. And what is this prop?
It's a prop Cato built for years ago. It's a one-off.
Nice.
For one, it was the first Cato prop for Rotax back in the old days.
You said it's like 80 inches?
80, I think it's 80.
It's big.
Can't remember the pitch now.
Tall prop.
Yeah. But lots changed, you know. This is pretty much one of the production airplanes.
GoPro mount?
Yeah.
Nice.
These are the flaps where they're unhinged from the back of the aileron.
Okay.
Like I was telling you, there's lots of things that can be done.
And so what is this unit?
That's the direct replacement to the old Grand Rapids system. This is all I have in mind is just this.
I don't think I've seen this before.
I don't know the name of it, but it's a lot cheaper, and the old EIS systems, the Grand Rapids.
Yeah, the little that's like the old LCD display.
Those if you have one of those, you can pull this out. It's like $1,000, and it's a direct plug-in.
Okay.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I don't know what. I mean, I just know that the new Grand Rapids are, they're still that old thing. They're a lot more money if you get them with airspeed, altimeter, everything. And
yeah. Because I was looking at the
bucks, you just can't touch it.
I was looking at the Grand Rapids, and even if you get there like EFIS, you still have to have that old LCD thing that acts as the engine monitor.
Yeah.
Then you plug it into the EFIS, like, okay, now I have to buy two things and find somewhere to put them. Like, that doesn't really work. But this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Oh, that's just
empty. I don't know what
all
all that other stuff is. I know what the radio is, but
this is that one that's on the website.
Yeah. I wouldn't get any of that nonsense, but this right here is all I would get. Gosh, it's 92 degrees. Man, that's wild.
What's the little red light?
It's just showing that my oil temp and my oil pressure isn't, when it gets into the normal operating, it goes off. The little Milwaukee toolbox right here, we're building a real one later, but that on the 95 plus days it got a little warm. The water temp got warm, but the cylinders didn't because they were exposed. And that right there dropped everything down like 40 degrees. So and really once we just got to build it.
Oh, just like the scoop for it?
Yeah, what it says is instead of the air just being just all a mess, the flow going underneath the radiator is actually drawing it out now instead of it just being a mess,
And oil temp too low, or it takes too long to come up?
It's just way too low. I want to actually put the smaller cooler on here because we just don't need the big cooler.
So they have two different Rotex
Yeah.
cells, two different ones.
They have a large cooler and a small cooler, but it might be harder to build a bracket with the smaller one. We might have to put a dog leg in it or whatever to get past the oil filter and stuff. And then I've been playing with the slats. These brackets allowed me to drop the slats down and forward. I like it as far as the slow speed side of it, but it did create a lot more drag by doing that. So I'm going to go kind of halfway between this, and then I'll put them back to the normal.
So is this one of the parts that was like back ordered on the?
No,
list, or?
When you get them, your slats will bolt directly to these tabs up here.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And this will be something that if you want just the STOL type performance, shorter,
put those on and it drops them down more.
Yeah, and we'll have a couple different configure, where they're at, kind of what you're doing.
And you said this was included with
the Pitot.
kit?
You'll have this whole fabric backing plate that rivets in. You've seen it on those wings there, and there's a hole there for it, and you'll see that line that was ran for it.
Gotcha.
And all it is people will come up with maybe better ways. I just did a real simple way, because a lot of times if you're pulling the wings off and you're packing it, I want my Pitot tube to come off really quick,
right?
So it's not in the way of anything or getting bent when I'm just putting them together or whatever, and so I like it to come off.
This is how you adjust the. At what point the spoilers come in on the ailerons? They're just directly connected externally.
That's correct.
That's really nice. Because I was looking at the wing with Amy, and I was like, "Where's the tube running inside the wing for the spoiler?" She's like, "Oh, it's on the outside." I'm like, makes a lot more sense to make it adjustable. And
you hear rivets rolling around in here where I drilled off when I unmarried it up.
So it starts to come out there. I hold the camera up. It starts to deploy pretty quick. That's cool.
I have fences that I got to get back on the flaps. They've always worked well.
Yeah, I saw that at some point.
Yeah, some fences.
What does that do in terms of the handling?
Well, I gotta fly it and grab some data on it, but typically the fences do, vector. They don't bleed off. When you get bleed off,
so it just makes the flaps more effective, basically.
Which we got a lot of flap on it.
Yeah.
I'd love to do an under-cambered one. That was a little bit longer. It would be a lot of fun, and we can do that now that they're unhinged.
And the wing itself, is it flat bottom?
The wing itself is flat.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish it was. The undercambered wings work really well, but
yeah, because the Highlander and the Super STOL both have
the Super STOL is flat bottom because
it's flat.
It's a riblet foil. This 6/13.5. The windshield, I held off. The windshields will get rolled up, but we're relieving that stressed area a little bit more. And we're doing an aluminum boot cowl that comes up, so it will have a door that you can get to your oil fill up.
I was wondering about that.
And so I told them to hold off on that too, because we can roll them up pretty small and ship it up there to you.
Okay. Yeah, I want to take a good look at kind of what's going on the Firewall. I feel like there's going to be quite a bit of.
Don't look too close, because we just wanted to get it going and fly
and
we got to get it.
I'm thinking about I hadn't even crossed my mind on the oil.
Yeah, real estate. We don't have any real estate here, and so it just has to go where it has to go. But that way, people aren't putting too much nonsense on it too.
But it's also kind of that your feet are on the outside, like gives you some space behind the Firewall actually to put stuff like the battery and the oil tank, and it not be in the way.
There's a lot of it that I really like, but there's a lot of it I need to clean up too. So
how do you like this prop, this big 2-blade prop, compared to the 3-blade on the ground over there?
I tried the 72-inch E-prop, and there's a lot of things I liked about the E-prop. We got some of the 205s coming, and I feel like I'm going to like it. This, even though I'm only making 4,800 RPM, which is not a lot of, I'm not getting max power.
Yeah.
It's still making more thrust than that Aerolux, which is kind of like a Kiev, and the E-prop. But you know, what we need is 100 horsepower. This was
I was gonna say, like, 100 horsepower might swing it a little bit.
I was flying this on 110 and I loved it. A big bore 912S years ago, and I really liked it on that. But even though I'm not making the RPM I should be, and so on and so forth, it's still better than the short E-prop and the Kiev type. But it isn't fast, but I don't care about the speed.
Right.
The airplane at 75 mile an hour is comfortable, you know, as far as just wind and so on and so forth.
And so this is the Deluxe Windshield, right? The
Well,
little add-on, or
it's just an add-on thing. And like I said, as you go, which I would definitely recommend it, because it does it does take it off.
I know from motorcycles that having a good windshield helps dramatically to the experience.
If you have to pull a gear leg, you just jack the airplane up. I actually have a center stand, like a motorcycle center stand, and you just lift the airplane up and put it under there, and then you just weight the tail, and it picks the mains off.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's and I'll get you one, and it's all secure, so that you're not worried about dropping your airplane when you're trying to do a tire swap or anything. You just literally bolt it in, pick the tail up, and it'll swing under like a center stand. Then you just weight the tail down and picks the mains up, and then then you're not going because you start picking up under these types trying to support everything. It's just sketchy. And I've had people drop. I had a guy drop his Highlander on him, and it ended up breaking ribs. And he bent his longerons. I mean, it's.
Oh man! Is that a Highlander fuselage sitting back there?
No, that's an old
Escapade.
That's an old Sky Raider. It was one originally, but then the Kitfox Lite.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't realize how small it was. It's definitely smaller than a Highlander.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tiny.
And what is the yellow one?
That right there was an old Javelin, and one of my employees bought it years ago, and of course he never did anything with it.
Sweet to see the Green Machine in person. Looks good. Tires keep getting bigger and bigger on it.
Well, it's nice to be able to walk under it.
What is the material? Just aluminum on the fences? That's sweet. Can I sit in it for a minute? I just want to feel the stick and see the seating position and all that. Is the seat adjustable, or?
It is, but it's ground.
You have to, okay.
It's ground adjustable.
Yeah.
There we go. You can throw
cool.
that master on too.
Yeah, I really like this. That's nice.
That's what I'm going to go with.
Oh, I didn't even really. Yeah, it's got the speed and the altitude and like everything on there already. Yeah. So what's even the point of that guy?
There's no point in all that. We just cut a panel and we stuck that stuff in there just because, I don't know.
There's not. You don't have a measuring tape or anything on you, do you? I'm just curious if the screen I'm looking at will even fit. If it'll fit in landscape mode or not.
I think it's 10 3/4.
Oh, it should be okay then. Just love the flap handle. That's set up. Quick and easy. So.
Yeah.
Oh, these are the aluminum tanks.
Those are aluminum
okay.
tanks.
I was like, wait a minute, I can't. How can I see the tank if that rib is
You
there?
can't,
Like, that's not a
and
rib.
you can see that, you know, where this, if it's just that was still prototyping, you know, and it's just for the sight gauge, so it didn't have to, I didn't have to put a 90 or anything on
Yeah,
it.
but I think when you have the clear tanks in there, that's gonna be nice. Yeah, that's, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but
Yeah,
it's approaching 90 degrees on that last notch. Yeah. Not for everybody, like you said.
and
We're not in every, not even you in certain situations even.
And what we might do though is, I'll probably send you some new plates to where your max might be more like right there, and then we'll taper them down to where they're kind of, you know what I'm saying, to where they'll have a little better range. That was the range I came up with when they were hinged off of the back of the aileron. But since I did that, I moved the hinge point, so we got more of a mechanical fouler now. By putting it here, it goes down and back a little bit.
Right.
We could actually build a different bracket and build a different bracket here and make a mechanical fouler that come down and hinge like right here, like on a Husky.
Yes.
And to where we could make the flaps even get a lot more effectiveness out of the flap. And I know that I'm going to get a lot of customers that'll come up with, they'll take that hinge point and they'll start playing with different flap designs, and you're going to see a lot of different stuff. Because it's so easy to do it. Building this flap is so simple. Building a Super STOL flap, first of all, the components, the cost of it alone is, you know, shoot, you take it, you know, yeah, it's you don't want to start messing with that. It's just so much money. You know, flying in the last 20 years has got to a point to where, especially flying like a Super STOL, you know, a Super STOL is $250,000-$300,000 now. And when you're flying an airplane like that anymore, it makes it really hard to go out and poach landings and have a real good time with it, because it's just got so out of touch, in my opinion. And this airplane here has kind of brought it back. A Super STOL, if you've been a Super STOL, you know, you're going to be out a year in labor and probably $75,000 to get it back in the air. And, you know, this thing here, where it's modular, if you bend it, it's probably not going to take you that much time to taking and unzip it, fix the stuff that needs fixed, and get it back in the air. It's not going to be no year. You know, we're looking at a month.
Right.
And I thought of that too when I did it. You can take and pull the fabric back and actually take a rib out and put a rib back in without taking the whole wing apart. The leading edge, it overlaps like fish scales, you know, as with the dihedral, which is the way I kind of want it. But most of the time it is kind of wingtip damage. And so all that stuff comes up without having to take all the other stuff off. And so we did a lot of that stuff by breaking it up. Instead of just making it one long piece where you'd have to cut it and splice it and all that, you just replace a part of it instead of the whole thing. And at the end of the day, you know, I mean, there are people out there that are going to utilize the airplane in that manner, and the repairability is very important to them.
Right.
And then, you know, nobody wants to mess an airplane up, but it does happen. But your time and your finances, if and when it does happen, if it's less, that's always better.
And that'll allow a lot more people to get into it too. Like, I think that's the part that excites like a lot of people, is like, this is something I can actually play with.
And you know, I mean, I hate to say it, because, you know, when I was your age, a lot of these airplanes were still, you know, affordable.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you could probably get a 170 for like nothing.
Yeah, and
now it's a $80,000 airplane at least for a just basic 170.
And the same with all of them, even the experimental stuff. You know, you could build an airplane back then when Rotaxes were $10,000-$12,000, and you know, kits were still, you know, 15 grand, and so on and so forth. It was a different world, you know, because we're not making that much more money than, you know what I'm saying. It's just, everything has just got completely untouchable.
Yep.
You know. And it tickles me to see somebody young like yourself, you know, doing it, because you're not the norm, you know. I mean, I'm dealing with guys that are I mean, I bet most of the guys, like my old business, you know, they were well in their 60s, you know, and it's just got out of touch. You know, years ago in the 90s, you know, I sold 3 airplanes to 14-year-old kids, and
That's
it was
crazy.
neat. And they built them, you know, and they, you know, one of them was washing airplanes. You know, that's how
Wow.
he did it, and it's neat. But things have changed a lot.
But this helps get some of that back. That's the cool part.
It does, and it is neat to see the younger crowd. You know, the young people, they look at it. You know, a lot of people say it looks cartoonish with the big tires and stuff on it, and it does, but it does attract, you know, the younger crowd. And I don't know if it's just because it does look cartoonish, or if it, you know, it's something that could be more achievable, or what. But
Well, I think you've done an awesome job on it. It's gonna be
it's been a fun project.
It's gonna be a lot of fun for sure, and a lot of fun for a lot of people, hopefully.
I won't be silly with it. This right here is one of the things that you gotta be aware of. What I need to put a pocket in it somewhere where you can. I know one day I'm gonna
be real easy for that to end up
Well,
completely
my
gone.
Super Souls at Highlanders, it was every time my phone would be in the tail of the airplane, you know, and I've even lost them out of the tail. But one day I'm going to forget, and when that happens, oof. Clear prop.
Turns right around me. Spiraling. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. Angle.
this, and I was like, ugh, I have a hard time doing that. I mean, that's a heck of a vacation.
Thanks for the demo flight. That was really cool. I can tell you're having fun with it.
Yeah, it is fun. It's so nice. We'll make it to where it covers the end of the slat, and so no matter where it's at in the location, it's covering that end.
Right. Okay. How much flap are you using there?
Just the second notch.
Oh, the second notch?
Yeah. The full notch is nice, but my timing on when it's all done flying, I want it to be
probably very abrupt. I would with that much
you can really hang it on the prop, but once you do touch the tail and you get it to slam down, if you kind of do more of a put it on, you can get stopped shorter than if you let it bounce, and then it doesn't really want to bounce you know how a lot of airplanes you land, if you're just off a little bit, they bounce, you get really ugly. Well, this isn't quite like that, and it's due to because we're going so slow,
right?
The wing. So when it does hit, mainly where the bounce really wants is if I'm on the brakes hard, because then it starts doing that type of, because that oscillation. But if you let off the brakes, it and just let it roll out, it doesn't. It stops instantly.
What do you think about if you are hard on the brakes, how bad is the tendency for it to want to nose over?
It's not as bad as what I thought, because I mean my axles, typically when you look at standard aircraft design, there's different rules of thumbs for sure, but typically your axles usually are about where your leading edge is. And I left them forward of it. It was like 2.5 inches with that size of gear. The problem by making the gear swept back, it looks cool swept back, but if you go extended gear, then the axle placement starts getting back to where the leading edge, to where the ground handling is better, but your braking ability suffers. And on my Super Stols, and Highlanders, well, like Steve Henry, I think he's 6-8 inches forward of his leading edge on his Highlander.
Just so he can get super hard on the brakes?
Yeah, he can get, real hard. And that's kind of the Highlander doesn't have a lot of wing area, but it performs really, really well with the right pilot in it, because we make it up with that gear forward design once we are on the ground. But it does really well for no more wing than it has, and it's due to that undercambered foil,
And it's just free castering. You don't have tailwheel lock or anything.
It's just free castering. I don't like
a waste of weight on this thing.
And I don't like anything tugging at my rudder pedals. When you have a lot of flap down and you're in a situation where you want to kind of get a little bit of that flap off, but you don't, because you don't want to settle. But you got maybe, you're just kind of in a uncomfortable situation with it. And it's typically it's in roll control, it's getting sluggish, but we don't have to worry about that with the spoilers. But when you do roll in on those spoilers, look what happens to our gap right here. It increases, and so it lets go of all that's happening with the flap. So it's helping your roll rate there again. See?
Which takes the flap more out of the equation.
That's right. And then when you need it, it comes down and it starts adding to it. And that was kind of just...
I hadn't thought about that. That's really cool. Huh. So in a way, even with them mechanically decoupled, you still have some coupling of when you put an aileron, it changes the flap.
That's right.
Aerodynamics, at least.
Yeah. And it's doing everything in the way that the way it needs to be, the way you want it.
It's like helping you with whatever control input you're giving, rather than like fighting you in some way.
And like I said, the control loads on the ailerons, everything is feels real good. It's not real heavy. The rudder pedals, I don't have aerodynamic balance, on it, but it's still, the tail, you're not going against a great big wide body, and so the rudder pedals are, And as you can see with the you know, the slips,
Yeah, I was
it's
just
got,
wondering about the slips, like not having the empennage and
yeah,
fabric and everything. How does that affect the slip? Well, it's
it,
still
it slips good, and it comes out of your slip nice. It's at every part of the flight envelope, you feel you just have, you have really good control ability. It feels good. You're not, you know, you don't find yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, that's kind of sketchy. I don't want to knock on that door again, you know.
That's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe and like the video. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing more Ruckus content as I walk through the rest of my build. You can follow that. I'll be posting YouTube shorts, and I'll also be posting quite a bit on the Ruckus Owners and Fans group over on Facebook, and you can catch up with the build progress there. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks for watching.